Hello, I'm Barb Walters, and this is a SkillPath training video audition. Today we're going to talk about ways to improve your business writing skills. The written communication is pretty essential in today's business world. Particularly in the customer service industry, I think business writing skills are required along with phone skills. I've worked with associates whose primary job is to spend the day responding to emails from customers. A lot of these are general inquiries, but a fair share are complaints. And the number one goal of an associate, of course, is to satisfy the customer, meet the customer needs. In this day and age of customer satisfaction surveys, we all want those excellent ratings, don't we? So do you correspond with customers by the written word, either through email or letters? If so, I hope these tips are helpful to you. I have a colleague who works with an insurance company, and she has shared her frustration with me that when she writes to the customer, she can't use eye contact. She can't use tone of voice. She can't listen to the customer to see if they're getting it, if they're understanding her meaning. That is why learning how to write better with improved tone and also with more clarity are so important. Let me give you an example. I'm going to read a sentence, and I'm going to read it 3 different ways. See what you think about especially how you react to each of these ways that I read it. You didn't fill out your form correctly, so the claim was denied. You didn't fill out your form correctly, so the claim was denied. You didn't fill out your form correctly, so the claim was denied. You can see how much power there is in being able to see hear the words, the tone, and see the body language, none of which, as we said, is in the writing. So let me tear this sentence apart a little bit and give you some tips. The first is that it starts with you. And it's funny, when I say you, I tend to point my finger. And the person reading this might just think that you're blaming them, that there's something to be defensive about. You didn't clean up your room, that kind of feeling. But it's written in a voice, it's called active voice. The next thing is where the actor is the subject. Again, it's you. The verb, the action verb, is what the subject does, didn't fill out. So it's very direct. Another thing that it also has in it is some negative words. And you try not to use no and not. You say didn't, don't, shouldn't, couldn't, no we can't. Try to avoid those. Let me give you an example of a way to rewrite this so we avoid all of that. When we submitted the claim, it was denied. This is passive voice because now the subject is the claim. The claim doesn't act. It's acted upon. So claim was denied. You notice there's nothing in here that talks about the customer, about you, about what they did or didn't do. So this is a very good way to deliver what we would call bad news, is to use passive voice. So going from you to we, going from active to passive, and avoiding negative words. Those are several important things to know when you're writing. So what else? People often ask, I ask the question, I say, how do you know something is well written? That it's written to the appropriate audience? Does it have the right tone? And is it clearly written? And here's some of the answers that I get. The first may be pretty obvious. There are no errors. Of course, nothing that I'm saying here prevents the need for proofreading and spell checking and understanding grammar. Some people say no complete sentence, no incomplete sentences. That is an incomplete sentence. So grammar is quite important. Another response might be, it doesn't offend me. Well, trying to write and being very aware of how you're coming across and trying to write in passive voice when it is bad news, as I say, is a way to not offend. Other word choices, of course, matter as well. It's short and simple. The fewer words you use to convey a message, the better. This is where the use of active voice is beneficial. If you're just giving them facts, how much something costs, what day to pick something up, what day their appointment is, it's fine to write those in active voice. But the passive voice, an example would be, you will get a refund. That's active voice. Now, why write it in passive voice, which has about twice as many words? A refund will be submitted to you by the claim department. Okay, so a lot more words needed to say that. So absolutely active voice has its place in business writing. We adjusted your bill. 4 words. An adjustment to your bill has been made by the department, the business department. That's, I think, about 8 words. So keeping it short. A reader, your customer, can be overwhelmed. They open up an email and they see all this black text and all this wording and it runs together. They can be overwhelmed just at that point. I don't know if you've heard this, but they talk about writing above the fold. And this is the typical preview of an email. It's maybe half the page. If you can manage to get your response into that half page, it will be you'll have a much better probability of them opening, reading it through to the fullest, and understanding it. So keeping it shorter sentences will certainly help with that. Other things about short and simple have to do with how it is the reading level. I was very surprised to learn that you can actually assess the reading level or the grade level of writing. In fact, in the United States, the majority of the U.S. population reads at the 4th grade reading level. Mass communication is written at the 4th grade reading level. How do you know that? How do you figure that out? Well, there is a tool, and it is called the Readability Index, and it's also named Flesch-Kincaid grade level scale because of Flesch-Kincaid having invented it. I won't go any more into detail on that, but you can Google it. And I did find it a lot of fun when I discovered this tool. I had a lot of fun going back to old writing I've done to see what grade level I had written it at. So I would recommend that you do that. Another thing is it flows well from beginning to end. Do you ever read your writing aloud? I would certainly recommend that before you hit that send button. So here's several tips then that I've shared with you, but I'm not finished. There's a couple more that I do want to talk about. One is to eliminate redundancies, and the other is to eliminate unnecessary words. So what do I mean by redundancies? This is when you've used 2 or more words to give the same meaning or message. It's redundant. It's a repeat. So let me give you some examples here. All of these are redundant in some way. Notice the first one, 9 a.m. in the morning. I know I'm a culprit of that. And by the way, when you're speaking, it's not so bad. People hear faster than they read. And so I really am talking about clearing this up in writing versus in speaking. But 9 a.m. in the morning, you would either say 9 a.m. or say 9 in the morning, redundant. At the present time, gee, that's 4 words. How about if you say now? What is wrong with just saying now? Basic fundamentals. Basics and fundamentals are the same word. So you could use basics or fundamentals, but you don't need both. Begins promptly. Begins is just fine. Again, written words. Red in color. Gee, red is a color. I don't think I need to point that out. Due to the fact that. Take 5 words and make it into 1. Because. End result. The result is at the end. So let's just say the result. Another wordy one, during the time that. How about when? This is a pet peeve of mine. Free gift. Are there gifts that aren't free? I hope not. I think there's some catches in ads, but the point is that gift is supposed to mean free. And hardly ever you could change into one word, rarely. So here's some examples in your writing of how to avoid redundancies and make it shorter. I mentioned unnecessary words. Some people, well, isn't that redundancies? The focus of unnecessary words is usually the overused adjectives or adverbs. So this list I have here is adverbs. Adverbs end in ly, so most of these are end in ly. They're, again, unnecessary in written communication. This gift is completely free. I don't know if I put the word completely here, but my pet peeve of free, completely free. Could it be half free? So don't use that. We are truly very sorry for the inconvenience. How about we're sorry for the inconvenience, or I apologize for the inconvenience? Virtually is a very popular word now. Virtually everyone was there. Everyone was there. No, you don't really need to go into that kind of detail. I think you get the idea there. So finding unnecessary words like these as you proofread, as you read aloud, and read aloud to someone else who might catch those kinds of excessive words in your writing would be great. I hope, I have a fun fact for you, almost forgot. The unnecessary words or the wordy expressions, like due to the fact that, actually originated in the 1800s when lawyers were paid by the word. Actually, I think I have some lawyer friends now who are still thinking they're getting paid by the word. They write a lot. So business writing skills are essential for success. There are many more tips that I could give you, but we've run out of time. And I do want to recap to be sure. Here are the things that I've mentioned. Use we instead of you. Use passive voice when delivering bad news. KISS, keep it short and simple. Use active voice when giving factual data. Eliminate redundancies. Eliminate unnecessary words. Avoid the words no and not. I hope that these are useful to you. I hope you remember that writing is really rewriting and rewriting and writing again. Thank you for your time.